Thank you. The irony is that I used to work for Amazon. So I both bought from Amazon and Avon and worked for both. And a little anecdotal story before I start. 130 years ago plus, David McConnell was going door to door selling books. So if he'd just been a little patient, 110 years later, the A and the N of Amazon could have been Avon. 110 years would be a long wait. Okay, what I've been asked to talk about is the supply chain and how we are contributing to the turnaround at Avon. So it's a little bit of a change of pace, but I love Peter's answer to sustainability. It is the cost of doing business. My representatives, my customers want Avon to be green, and they'll buy from someone else if I'm not. Therefore, I need my carriers, my warehouses, my freight, my whole supply chain to also be green. Can I go to my representatives, my customers, and say, actually, there's a 5% charge because we're going to be nice and green now? It's not going to work. So I really applaud the efforts of UPS. We have a limited relationship in a small country in Morocco, and I'm sure we'll be doing more. So firstly, I want to talk about Avon, the company, if I can work out the gadget. Okay, and then about Avon supply chain, and then our strategy as a company about how we're opening up the company. If you've looked at our shareholder reports, if you've looked at our share value, it's been coming down, not upwards. We haven't been growing as a company for about the last 10 years, and it's about time we did. And we're now seeing and driving the green shoots of that growth. And what I want to share with you is how the supply chain is contributing to that. And I'm going to look at it through 5 slightly different lenses to give you different perspectives and different reasons why supply chain is core to the growth and the turnaround of any company, but specifically for Avon. And then as I'm a supply chain guy, of course, I'll end with some numbers. You can't end a supply chain presentation without at least some numbers. So Avon, what is Avon? It's 130 years plus old, as I said. We have 6 million representatives around the world who, and another little quiz for you, please respond. Ding dong. Thank you. Many, many years they have been going around with brochures, dropping the brochures off at the ladies' houses, coming back a couple of weeks later, taking an order, placing the order, and a couple of weeks after that we deliver back to the representative who then takes it to the customer. Perfect, carbon-friendly, sustainable model that doesn't meet the urgent need of representatives and customers around the world. If I compare that with my previous employer, there is genuinely a video of delivered yesterday if you go online, and it's about someone who orders trainers, and by the time they go to the door to see if their trainers arrive, they're already on their feet because they came yesterday. And it's a little bit of spoof by Amazon, it's a little bit of play, but absolutely they want faster, faster, faster. And if we're going to compete in the digital selling, in the social selling, in the e-commerce industry, we need to do the same. And that's contradictory to sustainability because it generally costs more, your trucks are less full, etc. Okay. We're in 55 countries around the world. We're the top 3 in many, many of our categories. The European business is declining, but 60% of our business is in Latin America. Every minute, a new brand is sold somewhere around the world. And as you can see there, a statistic, 4 lipsticks and 3 mascaras every second. So fortunately, I'm not delivering those through the post with the Royal Mail or others equivalent. So what are we doing? What's our business doing in order to do the turnaround? First element is about the brand relevance. 90% of people in our key markets know about Avon. Less than 15% are going to buy from us. So we have a very, very well-known brand. People love and like us, but they don't buy anything, and that doesn't help the bottom line. So we need to be more relevant. We need to be more relevant to millennials. We need to increase the value of our products. I'll show you later. We have a very, very high-value product because of our business model. But it's a cheap product, and we have gone through the years making it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. We now need to premiumize our brand. We need to increase the value. If I'm delivering $1.50's worth of units, I can't deliver direct to a customer because it will cost me 5 to get it to her doorstep. So I need to increase the value of my brands. Secondly, we're working with the entrepreneurs, the representatives, the 6 million ladies around the world, helping them sell. The world is moving on, not everywhere, but parts of the world are moving on from a brochure at the door 4 weeks later, you get your products, to an Instagram, a WhatsApp, a digital brochure coming through on your phone and you saying, oh, I like that lipstick, I like that mascara, I'll buy it now. And it should arrive tomorrow. We're getting into that space, we're starting to open up with more access. We're not only selling through brochures, we're selling digitally, we have stores, we're starting to reach out into the broader e-commerce world so that we can sell anywhere. And then to support that, we're looking at our headcount, our structure, and our organization. Key thing I'll pull out here is we're operating in 55 countries, we have 49 distribution centers. Most of those are dedicated to the country or the cluster of countries around them. So we're reasonably well set up for 24-hour, 48-hour deliveries. And we have pick, pack, ship capabilities. So we're not an FMCG who, as I know from my time at P&G and Unilever, who make pallets and ship to retailers like Carrefour, Walmart, Tesco. We do the pick, pack, ship, deliver as well as the manufacturing. So how is the supply chain going to help Avon with this change? Firstly, the growth element. We need to grow. We've been declining now for 10 plus years. We need to grow. How can supply chain help with that? Well, service. We delight our representatives. One of my colleagues in South Africa, he told me that he loved his job because his job was to delight 80,000 women across South Africa every day. Delight by delivering parcels, just to clarify. But that's the first thing supply chain can do to help grow the Avon business. It can delight the representatives, delight them with the service that they're expecting, what they wanted in their boxes on the day and at the time that is expected. But it goes further than that. We want to delight them by the access to the order process, the payment of their commission, the quality of the box, the quality of the way it's set out within the box. If she's got 12 customers, then why can't we put her 12 orders in 12 different bags so that she can take it straight to the customer's home? How else can we use the supply chain, use our pick, pack, ship capabilities to delight the rep, make her job easier? Because in the past, 80% of her job has been delivering parcels. She's been an Amazon Flex driver. Because she's got all of this in a box and then she's sorted it all out and then she's taken it all to a friend's house. So she spends 80% of the time delivering parcels. I don't want that. I want her spending 80% of the time going out there and saying, look, this is a brilliant lipstick. You really want this dress. Smell this fragrance. If you bought this fragrance, why haven't you? I want to train her to do that and increase her earnings and become more confident and more capable and have a better standard of living because she's not being an Amazon Flex driver, she's being a sales lady with a growing business. So the service element the supply chain brings to that is really critical. And the second part then is working capital. The company needs cash. So the way that we help them with cash is we reduce payables, we extend payment terms, like every other company, we want longer and longer payment terms because we'd like the cash in our bank rather than yours. And we're reducing inventory. We're working really hard. There are 55,000 different Avon products around the world. And every campaign, a third of them change. Imagine the churn that creates. So inventory, forecasting, planning, the whole S&OP process is really tricky for us. But we need to bring that inventory down to free up cash to invest in delighting representatives and designing and building better products. And then cost efficiencies. Since I joined a couple of years ago, the headcount has gone down by 2,000. We've closed a number of sites. We've sold a number of sites. We will continue to drive efficiencies in our costs and our spending. We have to be more productive. We have to spend our supply chain costs more effectively. So coming back to the business model, the difference, and I've deliberately put the FMCGs, and I'm allowed to do this because I've worked for 3 of the companies on the chart. The FMCGs buy, source, make, plan, and then deliver in pallets or picked cases to retailers. And that's one business model that requires a second business model called retail. Where that retail is bricks and mortar or e-commerce, they still require it. And the P&Gs and the Unilevers of this world are stepping in to try and find a way to go direct to customer, but it's very, very small. And then the other part of that element is the Amazon, the Alibabas of this world, who are e-commerce. And similarly, they're stepping into own label. Amazon have recently launched an own label cosmetics brand. Tesco's have had that own label across numbers of areas in the past and continue to do that very well. But the difference is Avon does all of that. So we source our products, we make our products, we do all of our planning processes, we deliver through to the representatives, and increasingly this year our e-commerce business has grown by 78%. So increasingly we're delivering direct to customers as well. So that makes it particularly challenging for the supply chain because we get to be retail and FMCG. That's fun. So how does that show up? Why am I saying we get some super value products at Avon? Well, we don't spend the money on the trade margin. We don't pay Tesco's, Walmart, Asda, Carrefour the benefit of storing our products in their stores on shelf. So we don't have to pay them a margin because we don't need them. Increasingly, we will be using them because we want every channel we can approach. But we don't need that, and we don't spend all the money on advertising and promotions. You see adverts on telly even now with the reduced impact of those adverts. Even now, there's a lot of money being spent on brand advertising. We don't do that. Our advertising is the 6 million reps going to the house and say, look at this. Or the Instagram post or the WhatsApp post saying, this is a fantastic product, buy some. That allows us to give those representatives a commission. So there's 6 million ladies around the world who are making a living out of being our brand ambassadors and saving us the money of TV advertising, et cetera, et cetera. And when you add all of that up, we've got a more expensive logistics and final mile because we're doing the final mile delivery to the rep's home. But in total, that is significantly cheaper than exactly the same supply chain cost at a L'Oreal or a Beiersdorf. We can spend the same amount on materials, we can spend the same amount on our manufacturing, we can spend the same amount on our line haul and preliminary mile, and still sell the product significantly cheaper. So the representatives and customers are getting great value. So obviously we do this in collaboration. So we are developing with our commercial marketing teams what is the right product portfolio. 55,000 products changing 30% every campaign is not a smart solution. So we're talking to them about what is the smart solution. Do we really need to have 56 different bras sold in the Philippines? With the lowest volume, 250 per campaign. In the Philippines, my model is stores, and I have 180 stores. So what do I do? Send one of those bras to each of the 180 stores and hope that we only sell one per store, or do I have stock issues? I have stock issues, of course, because I can't get the 2 weeks across the Philippines in time for it being a next-day delivery for the rep. So we need to consolidate, we need to reduce that portfolio, and we're getting great support from the commercial marketing guys. And then the sales strategy, how do they really want to go to market? Because it's great to say we want to do 24-hour, 48-hour delivery, but can they make that financially work? Because if the representatives want to order every day a lipstick, a mascara, an eyeshadow, a face cream, a body wash, I can't deliver a parcel every day and still make money. So how do we manage that? Do we have a minimum order quantity? What do we do? We need to work with our commercial partners as to how we deliver. And then we need to look at the supply chain strategy, knowing our portfolio, knowing our go-to-market strategy, how do we redesign our supply chain? Then the two big areas that are different in Avon, again, than FMCG is we do the pick, pack, ship in a box. So we do the equivalent of the Amazon fulfillment centers, but only for our FSCs. That's a challenge. Because if you've got, I don't know, pick a number, 12 million FSCs in Europe, and you're delivering thousands and millions of parcels every day, it's relatively easy to have an efficient, scalable pick, pack, ship operation. When you're doing 100,000 parcels a day, and you've got 2,000 FSCs, the travel distance to do your picking is less efficient, and you will be more expensive. So I need solutions that pick, pack, ship my products more efficiently. And my view, at least, is that's often going to be multi-user. It's not a dedicated Avon facility. It's working with others, partnering with others, finding a way of getting my products picked, packed, and shipped along with other companies in an affordable way. And then the second big challenge in my space is the whole forecasting. So I can't go into Tesco's and say, what do you think I'm going to sell of Lenore over the next couple of months? Because I don't have a Tesco's, I've got 6 million representatives. How do I find out from them? How do I get a forecast from them? Because you wouldn't believe, if the lipstick is on the front cover of the brochure, it sells massively more than if it's in the middle fold. If it's in the back half of the brochure, it basically doesn't sell at all. If it's connected with a dress that happens to match the lipstick, we might sell 3 times as much. So understanding the demand signals and what we're going to need to supply with 6 million different representatives, all with a different view of life, is a real challenge. And then with the lead time and the complexity we have in a number of SKUs, makes that a really, really interesting space to play. I haven't quite worked that one out yet. Some of the other things we're making great progress, that one I'm still working on. So first lens to look at is the network design. So the first place is manufacturing. Manufacturing, we have 7 manufacturing sites around the world, and the ones that we are making very efficient and using TPM methodology and driving efficiencies are the ones where we have high-tech competence. It's a particular product that is special to Avon, and we know how to run that brilliantly. Or it's full and very efficient for that particular geography. Because if it's not highly technical, special for us, and it's not full, again, I want multi-user. I want contract manufacturers. I want companies to help me make my body wash close to the consumers in each market. I don't want to be making my body wash in one site globally or even one site for Latin America. I want it close to the consumers, so I'm not shipping those big 1-liter bottles all over Latin America. So that's the first thing. When we're clear now on our manufacturing framework and we've got the right number of sites. Nearly. And then the second one is the distribution center. So what we've had historically is manufacturing to distribution center, to local distribution company, to final mile carrier to customer. And a lot of that has been dedicated to Avon. And in the world of the past, where you can deliver once a month because that's what they're happy with, that's great. But in the world of the future, where I need to deliver every day to anywhere in Colombia, I can't have a provider who is only delivering Avon parcels, because they'll travel miles and miles and miles through the mountains before finally getting to the consumer's house, and that's not affordable. So again, I need to look at my distribution network. I need to go multi-user in the markets where I don't have huge scale. And we're looking at, should I have central warehouse with all 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 products for that country, and then only a couple of hundred of those products in remote warehouses close to the consumer? So that those warehouses can respond within 24 hours for the majority of the volume. And if they buy something unusual, they get it in 48, 72 hours because I bring it from the central warehouse in efficient line haul trucks. So that's one lens that we're driving and we're improving, and we're getting much, much clearer in our network design. Significantly more to do in that space because it's not yet right for the modern world. So, and then the other way to look at it is in terms of our responsiveness. The first thing is we need to deliver everything, because you can imagine you're a representative, you've gone out and you've persuaded these ladies to try this product, and then it's not in your box. And she may have waited 2 or 3 days already, and then the representative goes to a house and she hasn't got it. She's going to disappoint a customer, and therefore probably lose the customer, and the representative will be disappointed because she was going to get an income from this. Therefore, our war on shorts is about making sure that every order is complete. To deliver everywhere, we need the right channel solutions. We need pickup points, we need lockers, we need same-day delivery, next-day delivery. The Russian post office is one of my big suppliers. So I think it's 2,500 Russian post offices carry Avon products, and the rep can go in and get the product from the Russian post office. It's a very efficient way because the reps will be going there. It's even a carbon-friendly way, because the volumes are in bulk into the post office, and then the representative collects it and takes it to consumers. And we need more and speedier delivery options. My suspicion, as I get with the commercial guys and talk about next-day delivery and same-day delivery, is it'll be really, really exciting, and we'll have to charge, let's say, $5, and we'll have 1%. We've been doing this in in Buenos Aires now for a year, and it's 0.25% of reps are buying next day. Because it gets them into the site, and it gets them excited about our products. But how often do you really need an Avon product tonight or tomorrow, rather than in a couple of days, 3 days? So they don't want to pay the premium, but we have to offer that so that the millennials who want instant gratification can get instant gratification and then decide the commercial choice of whether they want to pay for it. If we don't offer it instant, we're in trouble. And then the next lens I'd look at is across the markets. It's very different. Avon operates in Western Europe, in the UK, in Italy, Spain, Greece, etc., and in Central Europe, so less developed markets. And frankly, my favorite video of a delivery is a boat on the Amazon River. It's another Amazon. And the lady comes to our local delivery company. She takes her 15 parcels. She gets back on the boat and goes 3 days up the Amazon River with her parcels, and then distributes to her customers in the 3 villages in the Amazon. That's a real, and we've done a special packaging solution for that, because one of the issues we got regular complaints about, tiny amount of volume, but very important to us because it's maintained in those villages, was that the boxes in the Amazon rainforest, guess what corrugate does? It collapses. So we now put a cellophane foil around those boxes so that they stay dry and they stay robust as they go 3 days down the river. So different solutions for different markets, and different reps within those different markets. And then what are we doing internally within supply chain to support that? We are trying to variabilize our costs. And one of the ways we're doing that is looking at our assets and deciding whether we really, really need them to be ours, or whether we'd rather sell them and have the cash and have a multi-user provider. Someone who's pick, pack, shipping, delivering our products along with others, because then they have scale and that's affordable. And we're moving more and more in that direction. We're looking at a segmented product portfolio. We're looking at trying to premiumize some of our brands, but we still need, and our representatives and our customers still want the core. So it's very, very important we maintain that core of products as well. Some complexity is good. I mentioned the bra sizes. You can imagine if you haven't got all of the sizes that a Filipino lady wants to buy, then she's not going to come to Avon for her bras and her intimate apparel, and therefore we're going to lose a customer. Do we need 8 different colors and patterns? Probably not. Not at the smallest and the largest sizes, at least. So there's some good complexity to have that range, but there's some bad complexity to have too much of it. Good complexity is enough lipstick colors that you attract the millennials to come and look at our business, but you don't need thousands of them. And each time we try, as we churn, we try 1 in, 1 out, because that manages your inventory, your complexity in a reasonable way. And I've mentioned 3 or 4 times now, we need support. Avon is not a company that has the technology or the capacity or the scale to do this alone. And to make it a sustainable solution, we need support to multi-user facilities, multi-user providers. The most efficient way to drop parcels around a city is 160 parcels in the van, an 8-hour round trip, and about 3 minutes to drop. I won't tell you how I learned that, but anyway, that's what it is. Except in North America, where you can get more parcels in a van and you don't take as long dropping them. But we need partnership, because we haven't, even in our mail plan world, we don't have 160 parcels within a 30-kilometer radius on a daily basis. So we need partnership, we need support. So what are we doing with our commercial partners, looking at it from agility? We are driving the size of line reduction. We're going back to our commercial partners and showing them the curve. I'm sure you've all seen it. These are all of our FSCs, and this is our volume. And it gets up to 90%, and then it's very, very, very long tail of very small brands that don't sell very much. And we're getting into discussions about which of those are good and which of them are bad complexity. We're driving our inventory levels through the S&OP process I mentioned. You can't compromise on service because every time we don't have a complete order in a box, we lose a representative. So we need to make sure that everything's in the box, but our inventory levels are massively too high. So we need to be much, much smarter about segmented and selective forecasting of our inventory requirements, and we're using artificial intelligence to do that. And then we've got the conflict of a lean footprint. So 55 countries around the world, 24-hour delivery, you probably need 75 warehouses. I've got 55 and I need a lean footprint. I need to reduce. So there's a conflict there. I need to reduce the number of warehouses and deliver faster. It's a very interesting challenge that we're working our way through. So I promised you some numbers. So what have we done today? I mentioned a number of the challenges we still had, but what have we done to date? Delivered in full and on time. Avon has had multiple metrics for service, and this is the one we're using currently. We've halved the gap to perfection. 6% doesn't look that good, but in the last 12 months, we have halved the gap to perfection. Our team have rung up and asked 215,000 reps around the world whether they liked our delivery performance in their previous delivery. And every week, we call another 3,000 representatives and ask them, because there's no substitute for asking the customer. Lots and lots of internal metrics are fun, but ask the customer. And we've halved the gap to perfection, and we're going to go further this year and into next year. Cost savings, we're driving cost savings. Last year, we delivered 12% reduction in the distribution costs globally. And this year, this year we've delivered 12. Next year, we've committed to another 9%. I'm used to 5% year-on-year cost savings. 12 and 9 is enormous, and I need more, so I need more support in that space. I mentioned the size of line simplification. We've reduced, by the end of this year, we'll be down 25%. And the inventory reduction, that's still an enormous dollar value inventory for a company the size of Avon, so there's still significant opportunity there, but we're making good progress. And a lot of the reduction there is operational inventory. We still have the challenge of the excess, because like all businesses that sell to consumers, the marketing team think that the customers are going to buy a lot more than they actually do. And the difference between the two numbers is excess. And my warehouses are full of it, and I'd love people to come and buy it from me. So that's 5 lenses of looking at how supply chain can drive the business. In 3 words, it's delivering excellence affordably. Any questions?
Very good presentation. I've seen maybe the majority of the metrics are internal. Have you measured customer satisfaction? Have you noticed any improvements in customer perception of your improved deliveries or improved on time in full?
Yes.
Is there anything that you've been able to measure to capture their increased satisfaction?
I love the fact that you asked that. One of the first things I did when I joined Avon was challenge the business on that. Because internally, my supply chain team were telling me how brilliant we were. Look, we're at 99% on time and 95% in full, and aren't we wonderful, aren't we wonderful? And then every time I talked to the GMs in the markets, they were, oh my goodness, service is dreadful. Look at this complaint from a rep, that rep, that rep, that rep. And when I went and visited the reps, they were, service, look at this damaged box, look at this photograph, look at this, look at this. So I got there was a disconnect, serious disconnect between what the reps were actually seeing and what we were reporting internally. So I set up these, in the big markets, 50 calls a week, in the smaller markets, 20 calls a week, where we rang up the rep who just had a delivery and said, did it arrive on time? Was the box in good condition? Was the product inside the box in good condition? Was the driver polite to you? Did you understand the brochure and get what you thought you'd ordered from the brochure, like did the colour match, was the gift right, etc.? And we asked 10 questions, exactly the same questions across 3,000 reps a week across the world, and started to track that. Initially, the response was about 82%. If we count each one a yes was a score, so 18% of the time they said, no, I didn't like what I got. We're now at 95%. So 95.3 last week, I got a wall full of these charts. 95.3 of the time, let's say yes, good to all 10 questions. So yeah, that's how we fix it.
Hi, my name is Jacek. Thank you for the presentation. I think it's really great insight. I have a question regarding inventory optimization. if you could share top priorities, innovations that you do on the inventory and how technology supports that. Do you have any inventory visibility dashboards or anything like that that will help you to optimize it?
Great question, and the short answer is no. And we're working on it. So we have an artificial intelligence tool that we've started to develop across Mexico, Russia, and the UK to help us with the forecasting. And we're talking to a number of companies about how we can better connect our S&OP processes. But the Avon I've inherited doesn't have a connection between what the reps order and the stock in my warehouses. So when you go online and you order something, there is no automatic indication of whether you're going to get it. But we call it PAI, Product Availability Information. And coming from Amazon, P&G, Unilever, it's a no-brainer. You don't go in and sell something you haven't got, but we do at Avon, and that needs fixing. So one of our big projects, after 24-hour delivery and the solutions to enable that in half the world, the next big one is product availability information, so that the representative, at least when she orders, it'll still disappoint her customer, because she's got her order already from her customer. She can go in, she can place her order, and if it's not there, then we can offer the 50 ml bottle of perfume instead of the 100 ml. Or we can offer a slightly different shade of lipstick or a slightly different pattern of dress. And that we're working on hard. But we're 15 years behind in that space and need to do quite a lot of work. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Graeme, one for me. It's great that you come and share insight from a company that's in trouble, and you've been quite open about that. Does that mean that supply chain's voice at the board table is a lot stronger than, for example, in P&G? Not that it wasn't strong in P&G, but it's clear the commercial functions rule the roost.
Yes.
Could you maybe compare the experience that you have, let's say, from your P&G days to Avon in terms of the perception of supply chain importance in the board and the way that you interact with your commercial colleagues?
Yes, it's very much more prevalent. Not least recently, Vikram Agrawal, my boss, the chief supply chain officer, was recruited. He was brought in, ironically, from Unilever, as Jan is from Unilever, the CEO as well. And he was brought into a newly created role of chief supply chain officer. Previously, his predecessor worked for the chief operations officer, and therefore supply chain wasn't on the executive committee. And the difference it's made has been enormous. Suddenly, when I'm reviewing with the GMs their scorecard and how they're doing, I get representative count, I get average rep sales, I get revenue, I get profit, and I get service performance, and I get inventory. And over the next 3 months, I'll also be getting their weight, their bias, and their outliers, which are the internal process metrics in order to have lower inventory. Because commercial marketing create outliers by not understanding, this is my words to them, by not understanding their consumers. If they forecast so badly it's 40% above the target or 40% below, that's because they didn't understand their consumers or their brochure. So outliers are their fault. And active rep sales is how many reps will be outselling during that campaign. If they get that number wrong, that's because the sales team don't understand their reps. So we're getting those two metrics into boardroom level discussions so that we can hold them accountable and start to fix our inventory levels.
Fantastic. That's a voice of hope. Any other thing? Yep.
Thank you for the presentation. It was really nice. And I have a question about millennials. It's a big challenge, I think, to attract them right now for you because it's a very classic business model.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you're doing any kind of digital apps for millennials, including your representatives, so that they can see or order online to the representatives, for instance. Is there any kind of initiatives there? Okay.
Short answer is yes, I absolutely agree. My daughter's a millennial. Well, I guess she is. She's 24. And she would not go near Avon. I've been here 2 years, and she still won't go near Avon, and I'm working on it. But in that process, I'm trying to understand the why. And the product and the brand, and when she gets to know what's available, she's like, oh, that's quite interesting. The delivery speed and the solution we can get it to her is still not where it needs to be. And having an Avon rep come to my house in Wandsworth, and no. So we have Avon Online. So I have on my phone an app that allows me to go in as if I was a rep and order online. And in there I have an online commercial brochure with all of the products on the electrical version. And I can send those via WhatsApp or Instagram to potential customers. And those potential customers can order using my rep number to order the product, and then I get a small commission. We don't get the full, and I don't think I'm giving anything away, I don't get the full 25%, I get 5%. If that customer, and we're also doing that online we're talking to eBay, we're talking to Amazon. If a customer wants to go online with those companies and order Avon, they can. But we want that still to be rep associated, because our business is about women. We are the company for women. We spend millions, billions on breast cancer awareness and domestic abuse. That's our reason for being. And we don't want to step away from that and sell via Tesco's or just put our products in an Amazon warehouse, because then the reps are gone. Why? We are no longer anything special. We're just another company selling beauty products. So we want to make that work with the reps. And if they buy on Amazon, we say, yes, you can buy on Amazon, but there's a rep behind there. And if you want someone to give you some social selling or some digital selling or some guidance, then this lady is getting a small commission for your purchase anyway. If you connect with her and she can upsell you or extend your buying, then she'll get a bigger commission. And that's good for her and it's good for you. So we're trying to maintain that core whilst being everywhere for everyone. Did I answer your question? Yeah, thank you.
Great. Graeme Carter, thanks for excellent insights.